watched the dog go to the bathroom, but mocks my husband's inflections. Like, good girl, good girl.
Oh my God. Welcome to the Big Dane Podcast. I'm your host, Dana Trimborn, and in this podcast, find the connection in the weird experiences that we all share. Listen to new episodes on Tuesdays wherever you get your podcasts. Hey friends! In this week's episode, I'm chatting with Missy Hall from Delaware. Listen to her weird and interesting neighbor stories. Find out who her neighbor across the street has been impersonating. Welcome, Missy.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to have you on, finally.
Yeah. It took a minute to get.
Took a little bit.
Yes.
Well, we got it now.
We got it. I'm so happy. Yeah.
Well, tell the listeners just a little bit about yourself,
Okay.
Who you are, where you're from.
Right. I am Missy Hall. I am a stand-up comedian, and I do some motivational speaking. I 7 months ago became a grandmother.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I call myself a rescue wife because I've been rehomed a few times. But I'm now very happily married to Jeremy Hall, who's also a comedian. Now I'm full-time. He's only part-time, but what else? Do live in Delaware, which that's pretty much as exciting as it gets when you just say I live in Delaware.
Yeah.
Everybody's face goes flat, which is fine. And what else? Oh, 4 dogs, 4 cats.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm completely normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
No pigs?
No pigs. No, I mean, I would if I
Yeah.
could. I would do all the animals.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's do those weird questions.
Yes. Weird is my favorite.
Amazing.
Right?
Well, you came to the right place.
Yeah, I was about weird. It's the best. It's the best. If you can't talk weird, I don't want to play with you.
See ya.
Yeah.
So tell me some of those weird superstitions that you have.
Currently, my big one is I cannot go to sleep without doing what I call the alphabet game.
Okay. Tell
And-
me more.
Okay, so the alphabet game started when I couldn't fall asleep. I would go through and try to think of a movie title that began with every letter of the alphabet. And you can tell how dated it was when I go through it in my head. But now, based on other episodes in life and all of this, I've turned it into this deeper thing. So every night I cannot fall asleep without coming up with every letter of the alphabet, something I'm grateful for or something that makes me laugh.
I love that.
It's and let's be clear, and I tell it to people when I'm doing motivational speaking and stuff, but the thing is I feel like if I don't do it before I go to sleep, everything cool in my life will disappear. Like, so it's like, okay, it's
Like, gotta do it.
yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it. Kind of like checking the door lock 3 times. Like, I have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
That's
to do it.
interesting.
But it helps fall asleep, but it has become like a little bit of a superstition. That
So how, so for the letter A, for example, how many words do you come up with, like a sentence?
sometimes I try to just do a word.
Okay.
But sometimes it will be like a sentence.
Yeah.
So like if I like something that makes me laugh, to be like anteater, because I think anteaters are hysterical.
Yeah.
Like you just, what is that? What is the long tongue?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then but see, you're laughing, right? It helps. Or like I'll be like, oh, my baby grandboy, for something that I'm grateful for. So I try to just do one, but sometimes I'll do an X.
I want to try
always, yeah, you do it. An
Yeah.
X is always weird.
Yeah.
X is always weird. So you always come up with some sort of like X-rated sex reference.
Sure.
Like
Naturally.
because naturally, that's where one goes after talking about being grateful for your grandson. Like, you know what I mean? But it is. It's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into your weird neighbor stories.
Yes.
Let's hear about it.
Well, it started we've lived in the house where we are now, I think, since 2018. So it hasn't been that long, of course, because some of those were pandemic years.
Sure. Gone.
Yeah. So it's like
a blur.
Yeah. And it's a relatively charm-free area in Delaware. Very old. My house was built in 1938. I love the house. But you don't really see, there's not kids and stuff. So you don't really see many people. And one day I had gone out weeding in my front yard. And I kept hearing that like.
No.
Yeah. And I was kind of like,
who the
who
hell
is it? Who? Because I hadn't seen people. So then I like look around. I'm like, and it's going on, and I'm kind of like, and I thought, is it my husband, like from our house? But I could tell. Mm-hmm. And I'm turning around and looking, and then I'm not gonna lie, like I'm sucking in my stomach. I'm like, somebody thinks I'm cute, you know. And I go in the next day. I'm not gonna lie, I dressed cuter to go out and weed, and I'm hearing that. I'm like, okay, but now it's kind of creepy. It's kind of weird. So I'm standing out front. My neighbor, next door neighbor, walks out, and he goes, "Oh, it's that bird again." I was like, "What?" He's like, "What bird?" He's like, "You don't know that bird? Do you hear that bird whistle?" I was like, "Oh." The bird, and I was my feelings were a little hurt. And then, now they have a son who has autism, and the sounds that he makes are whistling sounds.
Oh.
So he was like, he's like, when Michael comes out and does his whistling, the bird repeats it back at him, and it drives the father insane. He's like, it drives me crazy. So I'm feeling less flattered now that this bird. So, and I don't mention anything to my husband. My husband comes in the house one day, and he just has this look on his face. He's got his arms up, and he's like, I don't believe it. I'm like, what? He's like, did you know there's a bird across the street? I'm like, I did, and I think the bird thinks I'm cute. And he looked at me. When my husband left the house, the bird took one look at him and started whistling the Andy Griffith theme song.
Oh my God.
So it's like, and my husband's like a really short guy.
Yeah.
So it was like the bird was making fun of him.
That's
so I was
crazy.
Cry laughing.
Yeah.
Cry laughing. So every time I go outside, this bird cat calls me. And when my husband goes outside, he whistles the Andy Griffith theme song. He imitates my husband's car lock. The sound like, when it does that.
That's very specific.
It's oddly specific.
Yeah. Like, how can you even hear that?
Well, even more so, one of my dogs is super old and can't handle our steps in the backyard. So we take her out front, and Jeremy, my husband, comes in one day. He's like, okay, I'm done with that bird. I'm done. He's like, I don't believe it. I'm like, what happened? He takes Coco outside. This is all the way across the street. Because every time Coco pees, I'm like, good girl. He's like, the dog went to the bathroom before my husband could say a word. The bird's going, good girl, good girl, good girl. So this bird watched the dog go to the bathroom, but mocks my husband's inflections. Like, good girl, good girl.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And then, so of course, I had to investigate. I found out the bird's name is Harley.
Okay.
The bird's name is Harley, and they have Harley out on the front screened-in porch when the weather's nice.
That was my next question.
Yes.
I'm like, where the hell is this bird?
Well, that was my thing.
You can't see it.
I've never physically seen the bird. I've only ever seen the outline.
Wow.
And I found out because my husband, it's funny. The men in the neighborhood kind of talk to each other about lawns and things.
Sounds like small talk.
Yeah, this small talk stuff that nobody has ever, thankfully, brought up with me. But he was saying that that's the bird, and he takes it to his shop. He's like a car guy. Okay. And he takes this bird to the shop, and in the summer months, he's out on the... she is out on the porch.
Oh, okay.
It's a girl. Her name's Harley. And, but yeah, this bird... And it doesn't do the Andy Griffith theme song for anybody else. Just
like
what?
How?
I know.
Like, Because, yeah, I mean, now I don't know anything about birds, but I thought everything was based on something they see or hear to repeat it. So it's like, how did you come up with that one?
Exactly. Harley's an African gray parrot, which is apparently like the smartest of birds.
Oh, no
and
wonder.
they live for like 100 years. So like when you get one, you have to make arrangements for this bird. Yeah. So I don't know how old this bird is, but it is so strange that the bird knows the people. Like when I go out, the bird does the cat calling whistle thing. And it'll go, hey baby, hey baby, now that I know it's a bird. When my neighbor with the son goes out, if Michael does his sounds, the bird does that. Mm-hmm. And he whistles the Andy Griffith theme song at my husband and then talks to my husband, a good girl, with the dog. And it's just, I've had a blast with it because I was deflated when I thought that I'm still cute. I've still got it. I'm like, oh, a parrot.
Oh, it's
a parrot.
Actually a bird.
It's a bird.
It's not even a human.
Yeah, it's not a human. So I'm not cute. But then to have it target my husband with the whistling is hilarious.
Now, a lot of people these days, they have like cameras outside their door, right? Has anyone like caught any footage of the bird?
No, and we have the Ring camera.
Yeah.
The bird is in a cage on this screened-in porch, and you really can't see in.
Yeah.
You really can't see
in. Zoom in then.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I can't.
10 times.
Yeah.
And then just
Excuse me. And then I was going to say, then they're going to call the police, because I've done it. And we have another neighborhood cat that I had been calling Romeo. And he would show up on our Ring camera. I've now found out he does have people, and the cat's name is Neo. I still call him Romeo because he's this charmer. But he'll show up. He's a neighbor's cat. He gets out and he comes to our door, hangs out. Jeremy will go out and give him treats. The bird will yell at him when Jeremy was like washing my car. The cat gets, so we have all those videos of like, okay, this is not our cat.
Yeah.
Getting in the trunk of our car. And again, my husband has met those neighbors. I haven't met them. So I don't know if I look unapproachable or if he's just out when other people are out.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's wild.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I just don't know many people with birds anymore.
I have never had like contact with a bird that actually belonged to a person, and I love birds. So I've like when I was at like a zoo place, if you can go in and buy food and the bird will come sit on your head, like I would do that all day. I would do that all day. So I desperately want to knock on the door and be like, I would like to spend the afternoon with Harley, please. But that feels like a lot to ask of somebody, because I don't know anybody that has them.
I would say you should throw a barbecue and invite all the neighbors. And then make friends.
I can't.
With
it would only be them because there's another man like at the end of our street. I don't know that he's selling drugs.
Okay.
But a lot of cars stop there and he's always outside in his pajamas. Oh. Just having quick conversations with people in cars.
Oh.
I don't feel like yeah, it's just odd, an odd little place that I live. Like, it is. And then, I'll take walks. And there was one day there was a delightful man. Picture a very thin man who, I know he's a Vietnam veteran because he wears the hat and he's got the beard and stuff, and he's always out futzing in his yard, and I could feel him staring at me. So I said hi, and he's like, hey, he's like, you coming from down there? And I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, I'm Russ. He's like, I want you to know I keep my eye on things.
Did he do that with
He did
his
the
fingers?
eye thing. Yeah, he doing the, he's like, I keep my eye on things.
Wow.
So you're safe. And I was like, from what?
What's happening?
What's happening? I'm like, and he's like, the lady over there is old. She lives by herself. We keep an eye on her.
Okay.
And he's like, don't go past that stop sign. I'm like,
Okay, let's take a quick break. For a limited time only, you'll have free access to my coffee page. No, not actual coffee. This is a place for all exclusive content that won't be on my Instagram or Facebook accounts. Check out sneak peeks, behind the scenes, extra audio clips, and much more. Just have a tap on my Linktree, look out for that coffee cup icon, and boom, you'll be on your way.
I never have. I don't know what's down there. Now, this guy could be completely insane, but he seems, he's like, he sits out at the window, the mailbox, like, you know, we all have our private mailboxes. It's all single family homes, but there's a regular U.S. post office.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the big blue box. Yeah. And he reports if people hang by the mailbox too long.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. He's
people putting stuff in the
I was
mailbox?
like, he's like, I don't know, or taking stuff out of the. I'm like, well, what's
stuff out?
What's in the mailbox? I was about to say, I don't
in
think you can do it. I don't think you can. And, but he's just like, and I was like, well, this is nice because I'm like, if I ever fall down or something while I'm having my walk, I think that this man is going to come out. He's going to help me. So I feel, and his name is Russ. I feel like Russ is somebody you should be nice to.
Yeah.
In the neighborhood. Because he's like.
Yeah, you want to be on the same team as him.
Definitely want to be on Team Russ. Definitely want to be on Team Russ.
If you're not on Team Russ, you better watch your back.
I was about to say, I feel like people might disappear if they're not on Team Russ, or at least we'll have the police show. I don't know.
Probably all the bodies are past that stops.
Yeah, you're like, well, that's what he was saying. He's like, you know, this, and typical older person, like, this used to be a good neighborhood.
Right.
And I'm like, what's happening here? Because I've had no problems except the bird, which isn't a problem. He's actually delightful. Right. But, yeah, so I'm like, okay. Like, does every neighborhood have a Russ?
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And how far down is he from you?
So he's not on my street. My street's fairly short, say 8 houses on either side of my street. And so I walk down, I take a right, and he's about 5 or 6 houses up.
Okay.
So
you don't see him like that often.
I only, literally only if I'm taking a walk, because I don't even drive out of my neighborhood that way. But he's like, you come from around that way, right? And I'm like, yeah, like Russ knows.
Like, should I not?
Should I? Yeah. He's like, you'll be fine. I'm like, okay, Russ.
I feel like you need to talk to him more.
Like, I know.
What other stories?
Well, I know.
I need to hear about?
It's true, because he was telling me, and sometimes he'll share some political views, just super fast about the world going to hell. And those, as one does, right? But yeah, he'll talk about the crime, you know, the way that I'm not supposed to go. It feels kind of like a Stephen King novel. You know, I wouldn't go down that way if I were you.
I feel like you're in a horror. Yeah,
I'm like, what's gonna be down there? Yeah.
Have you gone down that way now?
No, because
is it like the opposite side?
It is. See, the neighborhood that I'm in is super old. And I will say, so it's super old, and there are these streets. So, and it's a lovely place because there's sidewalks and the big old trees and all of that.
Sounds nice.
Further down, the area that Russ was pointing to is not new, but newer. It's more like, I don't think it's apartments. I think it might, but it's not townhouses. I'm not sure exactly what it is.
Duplex?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Because there's more than one story, but I've never heard anybody talk about an apartment complex.
Okay.
I'm not really sure, but
fair,
it's all brick. But it's definitely a change from our area to whatever this area that I should know what it is because I live there, but I don't, you know, when I don't have kids or anything anymore, so I'm not out and about in my local surroundings, you know, so I'm not sure what's down there, but apparently it's heavy crime. Heavy crime. And I do get a lot of, do you have like the Ring or like the neighborhood watch kind of stuff on your
So we don't have the Ring. I did download Nextdoor.
That's the one.
Early
Yes.
on. Because so it literally looked like a neighbor had put this flyer into our mailbox. It's like, oh, this is nice. And like, what I then realized it was like, just like a marketing scheme to just have you download the app. And I'm like, because then I'm talking to my other neighbors.
And I don't think you're allowed to put things in people's mailboxes.
Oh.
You're not. You're not allowed to do that.
Really?
Yeah. You
If you're not the
if you're not the post office,
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know why I know that. But I remember.
So you can only like, is that why people
has to be
stick it in the door or like
yes,
fold it into your doorknob?
Yes, years ago when I worked in a local theater, I was in a play or something, and I'm like, well, can't we just put the brochures in people's mailboxes? They're like, no, that's a federal offense. And I'm like, if I stick a Bye Bye Birdie flyer next door, they're like, yeah, no. So you can't do that. That's why they're in the doors. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I wonder what my neighbor's been doing then. We're trying to have this block party, so. But I don't know how she's putting the flyers in there.
Well, and maybe if nobody, like if it's just a few people.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. But.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, can you imagine I picture this dystopian society where your poor neighbor's like, I just want to make chicken for people, and they're dragging her off. You can't put a flyer. Yeah. Gosh. But yeah,
so you're on Nextdoor.
Yeah, so I'm on Nextdoor. So we always are getting those at fireworks or gunshots, and that's I'm in Wilmington, Delaware. Yeah. So I haven't personally heard gunshots. We do have neighbors that set off fireworks.
Okay, so maybe
which scares the dogs.
Yeah.
But it's not let's have a block party. Mm-hmm. It's more like whose dog pooped in my yard kind of thing. And then, oh my gosh, I was taking a walk. I passed Russ's house. I turned the corner, and there's this street that has like the best trees, like great big old trees, like old enough that they've messed up the sidewalk. Like, it's so cool.
Wow.
It's like, excuse me, and some of the people have beautiful landscaping. I love to walk down the street. And one day I was so happy because this dog comes running over to me. I love dogs. Any animals. Like, I love them. He comes over, and I'm like, hi, buddy. And this lady comes out, and she's screaming. And she's like, at the dog. She's like, get back here. I'm like, oh. And it was an older dog. She's like, get back here. Get back here. And then she's like, she is not your friend. She yelled at her dog. And I had done... Like, the dog, I'm like, oh, boo. And she's like, she is not your friend. Like, did not acknowledge me at all. Like,
that's a little rude.
I was devastated. First of all, normally if your dog chases somebody on a sidewalk.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always like, no, it's okay, it's fine. Do you need me to help him bring you back or whatever? But it was like, she's like, get back here. She is not your friend.
It's awful.
It was awful. And I'm like, I am his friend.
Like, do you see me standing here?
I was like, I'm here. We're friends. Like, the dog came to me. He chose me. He came. We are friends. And now I'm like, my feelings are hurt. Do you know I haven't walked on that street since. Because of that mean lady.
I believe it.
Yeah. Mean lady. And then, I can't help.
You should bring the parrot with you.
I was about to say, am I the weird neighbor? No. Like, if they were on the podcast, would they be like, there's this lady that walks around? Like, maybe I'm the weird one.
She has real curly hair.
She's got really curly hair.
She wears this ridiculous jumpsuit.
She wears these jumpsuits. She's got one in, like, every color. She's clearly wearing her ear pods and listening to like meditation stuff because she's looking all peaceful at the trees like she's a weirdo. Because now that I think about it, I've never seen another person taking a walk in my neighborhood. Like, it's just me.
Really?
Yeah.
It's kind of odd.
It is.
And there's sidewalks, you said, right?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. It's not.
Yeah. Not your typical.
It is not typical. I love my house. I love my yard and all of that. And we picked it. Like I said, my daughter is grown, and we wanted to be. I'm on the road all the time, so I needed to be close to 95. Live someplace cheap to get to the airport. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
it's like perfect. But it is not like when I parked here, there were neighbors. They're like, "Oh, are you looking for Dana?" I'm like, "Yeah." They literally said, "I'm looking." Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they were like, oh, because they're like, "Are you lost?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm looking I'm not sure. I feel like it's, but you never know where to park or something." They're like, "Well, you can park there." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, he's like, "Oh, is that Dana? Are you gonna do the neighbor podcast?" I'm like, "I am." I'm like, "Are you guys waiting out here for everybody that does her podcast?" I'm like, that's not like
great.
my neighborhood. My neighborhood is not like that. These people, he let his dog talk to me.
Oh, it was probably Cora.
Was it the dog's name?
Yeah.
Oh, was it because the guy did not look like his
probably
name?
Mike, yeah.
Okay, that's
Mike
it.
and Cora, yeah.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. So I was like, I like this neighborhood better.
We have a good street. I will say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got good people on this side, on the same side as us.
That's nice.
Yeah. We'll
That's
hang
nice.
out.
Yeah, but no birds to whistle
No
at you.
birds, at least not yet. I mean, I hear, you know what I do hear? Chickens.
In here?
Yeah.
Like, this is not, like, I'm looking out the window. People can't say I'm looking out the window, but it does not look like there would be chickens.
I know.
Who has a chicken?
So there's these people down the street. If you go all the way at the end before you hit Spring Mill, I won't tell people where I live.
Yeah.
But on the corner, and I just happened to notice, I think during the pandemic, actually, because I was outside, I'm trying to get out of the house and taking a walk. And then I did like a double take to my left because I'm like, are those chickens? And there's like 2 chickens just in the back. Like a couple chickens. And then I'll walk around, I'll do,
like a loop kind of thing?
Yeah. And then maybe it's like around 4th, and I hear like, yeah, it sounds like a rooster. And I'm like, where am I?
Exactly. Like, what's happened? Like, what is that is the weirdest.
Yeah.
That is weird.
Yeah, so that's what I've been hearing. No.
Okay.
So a form of a bird.
A form of a bird.
Just
and it wasn't flattering you.
No.
That was.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Those first few whistles, when I realized it wasn't my husband, I was like, no, stop.
Yeah.
Just stop. Then it was kind of weird. I'm like, okay, now this is aggressive. And then I went through the whole stage, like 5 stages of grief. I'm like, are they making fun of me?
Yeah, like
are
all the
these
different scenarios?
ironic whistles?
Yeah.
Never once dawned on me. No, bird. It's a bird. It's a parrot.
I mean, it'd probably take me a little while to figure out, like, what the hell? Like, what's going on?
You wouldn't expect a bird,
Yeah, especially because you couldn't see it.
I couldn't see it, and it was loud, and I was looking around. I'm like, I was the only, like, it was obvious that it was at me.
Right.
It was
like,
one of those.
Is this a prank?
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Is this mean? Right. Am I gonna go viral? Is the lady weeding her garden? Yeah. But yeah. And then when my neighbor's like, "Oh, it's that bird," I was like, "Oh, okay, it's a bird."
Maybe. Who knows? Maybe the bird's like on social media.
I can tell that. I don't think
they're too.
It's
not tech savvy.
No,
maybe.
I feel like my neighborhood is not very social media people. It's older. I mean, I know I'm no spring chicken, but it's like older, very blue collar.
Yeah.
They're not. Their bird is not going to have his own Instagram channel. Yeah. Like he should. Harley should have. There's part of me that's been like. I was like, could we just have the bird for a weekend? But then I'm bringing a bird into a house with 4 cats and 4 dogs. That's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
That would definitely make me the bad neighbor.
Yeah.
That would.
Because it probably wouldn't come out alive.
It was like, can you imagine? Oh my gosh, the carnage. Yeah. Yeah. So, but like, I might be the weird neighbor.
I don't think so, but
I hope not.
There's definitely other, like, more weird things, I think, that have gone on.
Yeah, like I wonder Russ, with the keeping patrol. And
Now, I want to talk to Russ. What's going on?
I know.
Just leaving me hanging.
Yeah, and the thing is because I didn't know if I should talk, but he'll stop his lawnmower and wait to initiate conversation. But he wouldn't start. So finally I'm just like, hi. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's a strange thing.
Maybe you can bring him, like, the newspaper.
I was thinking, I should take him cookies, like at Christmas or something. So he'll keep protecting me.
Yeah. There you go.
And I love that, like, I've never seen the lady that lives across the street from him, but he's like, yep. He goes, we got eyes. Well, over there, she's old. We watch. We make sure we don't see lights for a couple days. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
that is very
looking
nice.
Out.
Yeah, that felt kind of Little House on the Prairie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but a far less wholesome version. Like there's lots of, but you know what I mean. But it's very cool.
Good. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming on and
yes,
sharing your
absolutely.
stories.
Thank you for having me.
It's a lot of fun.
It is. It's fun to get to talk about this stuff. Yeah. Because where else is this going to come up in conversation?
Right. People don't talk about it enough.
No.
Like, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, it is.
We can get it uncomfortable.
We can get it, and you should be able to look at somebody and be like, did I tell you about the bird that lives across the street from me? Like,
exactly.
That should be an opener.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me.
Of course. And if people want to get in touch with you, how would they go about doing so?
They could send me a bird.
Okay.
Or,
fair.
I am on Facebook. Missy G. Hall is my personal page.
Okay.
Missy Hall, Queen of Happy Things, is my comedy page.
Oh.
And I go live from there every Tuesday with my husband at 8 o'clock. We do just interactive stuff with people online.
Okay.
Instagram, I'm Missy G. Hall, and my website is just Missy Hall Comedy. So I'm not hard to find. If you can remember the Missy Hall
everything
part,
we just said.
Yeah, everything we all of that stuff. But really, if you're the least bit interested, if you just look up Missy Hall, and you'll see my picture is like, I got big hair. So
she does a great show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So funny. All right, my friends. Thanks for listening, and be sure to listen to new episodes on your preferred platform. Stay up to date with my podcast by going to my Instagram or Facebook accounts at The Big Dane Podcast. Interested in being a guest? Just go to my link tree, tap on Be a Guest, and fill out the form.